You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday. Boy, is it a Monday. 8th day of December, 25. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here. Now, do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First one's our live training room. So to get in there, you got to be a member or taking the 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken the 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us at the top of the hour, he'll walk you through how to do it step by step. No credit card required. 5 consecutive trading days treat you just like you already a member. Access to everything. 2-hour live training room and everything else we do the other 20 hours of the day. Around the clock. Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. And when you take the trial, the weekend doesn't count against you, so worry. Get signed up today. Have your indicators up and indicating within minutes. The trial will officially start tomorrow morning and run all Monday. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break. Come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. It's everybody, everywhere, planet Earth, internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, just click the link in the email. That logs you right into our platform, giving you access to the question box so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, still want to join live. Some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do either one of those through our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFR. It's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived, educational, and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CF. The left side of the screen, that's our daily schedule for each afternoon broadcast. So we're just going to dive right into our daily devotional. The topic that we're on right now, day 3 of 7, anxious for nothing. Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7. Don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, guard your hearts and your minds. Jesus. 4, 6 through 7. Is peace really possible today? Share a story with you from a young lady named Cherie. Cherie went on a quest 11 years ago to find out the answer to that question. Here's what she discovered along the way. Keep in mind, these are her words, not mine. I remember it vividly, she said. The day I decided I couldn't live like this anymore. Here I was, a fully devoted follower of Christ, responding to life pretty much like everyone else. I lived in fear and worry, yet I knew it shouldn't be that way. Consistently, I read in the Word of God not to be afraid and not to be anxious, nothing. But it sounded impossible. God has a lot to say in the Bible about fear and its antidote. In one instance, Jesus and his disciples were on a boat crossing the Sea of Galilee. A furious storm threatened to sink them. They all fought to keep afloat. And what was Jesus doing? Well, he was asleep back right in the middle of the storm. Disciples asked, "Teacher, don't you care to drown?" Jesus got up and rebuked the storm, and it went completely. Then he asked the disciples, "Why are you so afraid? You still have no faith?" It's Mark 4. That pretty much summed up the conversations I was having with God. I could feel him asking me why I was afraid. I wasn't answering. Isn't it obvious? In my circumstances, wouldn't my quest for peace, several things became crystal clear. Circumstances were determining my level of peace. Life circumstances were all good, I was at peace. Storms were encircling me, stressed, anxious, and tired all the time, exhausted from my emotions. I was just like the disciples in the storm. I was fearful of the storm, hurt and confused because I thought God didn't care. Jesus brought me to my next point. Jesus was trying to teach me peace is possible no matter the storm. You relating to this battle? It's not easy, is it? I was still struggling to understand how Jesus could expect me to experience peace in the storm, wondering if he truly even cared. When I realized my next break, storms reversed. Peace doesn't mean everything's going right in your life. It means being at peace when storms are shaking your life. I hadn't learned to trust God and find peace even in storms. That wall yet? It's obvious I had some room to learning path to peace. It's founded by trusting and fixing our thoughts on never unsettled storms. Happen overnight, by little, peace and rest rejuvenated, tired soul. Thank you, Sherry, for sharing your personal story. Let's pray. Lord, we bring every worry, every need to you, thankful hearts. Calm our anxious thoughts and fill us with your peace, peace that goes beyond all understanding. Guards our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Help us rest in your and trust you completely. It's in Jesus' name, everybody said. And happy Monday. I give you the numbers. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, with the indices as they're currently. The Dow's down 240. Nasdaq is down 70. S&P 500 is down 29. Russell 2000 is up 6. Russell has been behaving a bit oddly late. Now, when we go to the charts in a bit, see that this pullback on the S&P, we talked about it for days last week. We talked about the exact setup that was happening and what we should expect from it. It's all coming together just as we anticipated. That in a few minutes. The commodity basket, crude oil is down 95 cents at 96. Trading 59.12 last. Drop of over 1.5%. Just $1,000 per. Gold's down $25.60. Trading 4,217.60 last. Silver's down 70 cents. 58.35 last. It's a drop of over 1%. Again, a $1 move. Silver is worth $5,000 traded. And we are down 70 cents on the session. The Asian markets at the close. Nikkei posted a gain of 90 points. Shanghai rose 21. Hang Seng fell 319, which is basically 1%. The European markets at the close. FTSE down 21. DAX up 17. CAC down 6. So we had a mixed day in Asia. Mixed day for the U.S. And at the moment, it is a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. 3 of the major indices in the red. Russell losing ground. It's now positive by only half. Let's take a peek at the global news. Protective shield at Chernobyl no longer performs its main function of combining radioactive waste, according to the United Nations Nuclear Watchdog. Assessment comes after a February 14th drone strike. Ukraine has blamed on Russia. The new safe confinement is the world's largest movable land structure. A hangar-like structure designed to last 100 years that was built from 2010 to 2018. A structure made with donations from 45 countries was designed to enclose the Soviet Union's concrete sarcophagus, erected immediately following the 1986 Chernobyl disaster. Earlier this year, a drone carrying a high-explosive warhead struck the NSC, damaging its protective cladding. No reports of radiation leaks Radiation levels remain normal. Watchdog said this weekend NSC's monitoring functions remain intact. April 26th of 1986, two explosions at Chernobyl's nuclear reactor number 4 sent radioactivity across much of the Soviet Union and Europe. Oh boy. Oh, maybe if Putin could focus on keeping his own house clean, stop worrying about trying to take land from Ukraine, maybe we would be with this actually national disaster, international. Benin's interior minister said yesterday the army had successfully thwarted a coup. The announcement came hours after soldiers on state television claimed to have seized control of the government. The country has been relatively stable politically since 1991. It began holding multi-party elections following the end of Matthew Hiroke's authoritarian. Current leader, President Stallone, has been in power since 2016. Mandate is set to end in April. Last month, the ruling coalition approved broad constitutional reforms to extend the next president's and lawmakers' mandate from 5 to 7 years. Critics called a power grab. Beninese court has separately barred the opposition party's proposed candidate from running, citing insufficient support. Benin is the latest West African country to face a coup attempt after neighbors Niger and Burkina Faso, as well as Mali, Guinea, and most recently, Guinea-Bissau. Legendary architect and designer Frank Gehry passed away Friday at age 96, following a brief respiratory illness. Canadian American Gehry is generally considered the most decorated architect of all time, having won many of the industry's top awards in his career. Known for his imaginative, curving, and unconventional designs, Gehry built an early reputation challenging traditional construction norms. Beyond the structures themselves, Gehry designs gave birth to the ripple effect, the idea that a single architectural project can spark a revitalization in an otherwise declining urban center. The term comes from Gehry's Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, Spain, which drew 4 million visitors and generated roughly $580 million in economic activity its first 3 years. And it was notably completed on time and on budget. Gehry's best-known buildings include Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, Ton Foundation, Wall Street. Paramount Skydance announced today a bid to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery in an all-cash deal, $3 per share, roughly $108 billion, as the company moves to top Netflix deal struck last week to acquire the storied studio. Paramount stock rose more than 6% after the announcement. Warner Brothers stock rose as much as 7%. Paramount's bid would see the company acquire all of Warner Brothers' assets. Friday, Netflix agreed to acquire Warner Brothers TV, film, studios, and streaming division for $72 billion at roughly $27.75 per share, in a cash and stock deal see Warner Brothers shareholders receive $23.35 per share, along with $4.50 in Netflix stock. Netflix stock fell as much as 4.5% today. Right now, Paramount Skydance, PSKY, is up almost 10% session. Tentative deal between Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix, agreed to by the boards of both companies, is yet to receive approval under the federal government's antitrust review process. Success is far from guaranteed. Combined Netflix WBD would control roughly a third of U.S. streaming activity. To data from Just Watch, a platform that measures streaming engagement across U.S. services, setting up ripe conditions for a drawn-out and fiercely critical deal review by the Justice Department. Trump has already flagged potential antitrust questions about the deal, adding fuel to concerns about regulatory opposition. Yeah, I think they may have trouble getting this approved. Stocks dipped today as Wall Street headed into a pivotal week, dominated by the Federal Reserve's final policy meeting. It's going to happen Wednesday on the 10th. Markets are on the lookout for risks to almost total confidence that the Fed will cut interest rates at its two-day policy meeting, which starts tomorrow. After a recent surge in optimism, traders now see an 88% probability of a cut in Wednesday's decision, compared with 67% odds a month ago. Tame reading on September PCE consumer inflation kept that conviction alive on Friday, showing appetite for risk and helping spur back-to-back week gains for the major. Carvana stock surged as much as 10% today, and now it's up over 11%. After the online car retailer was tapped to join the S&P 500, marking a dramatic turnaround. Once heavily shorted company. This really is a turnaround story. And a boot. See, there can only be 500 companies, so if they're adding Carvana, somebody's got to go. Monday, shares surged to a high of $430, ahead of their December 22nd inclusion as part of the broad-based index's consumer discretionary category. Move follows a stretch of record sales and profit units sold, with the company reaffirming its long-term goal of selling 3 million cars within the next 5 to 10 years. Monday, today, Bank of America analysts reiterated their buy rating on the stock, raised their price target to $45 from $85. And Carvana's up $6 a share, 12%. This article tells us S&P is going to shed. December of 2022, you bought this at $4 a share, facing bankruptcy speculation. Last year was the first time the company ever posted an annual profit. Wall Street analysts have turned increasingly bullish on Carvana over the past 2 years. The stock has 18 buy ratings, 6 hold, 2 sell. After consternation about whether the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates for a third time this year, consensus is that the central bank will likely go ahead with a 25 basis point Wednesday, even if it's a split decision. This is a hard call, said Alan Blinder, former vice chair of the Fed and economics professor at Princeton. But I do think it's more likely they cut than not. It would surprise me if this is a hawkish cut. That is to say, a rate cut this week could come caution to markets not to expect the Fed to keep cutting meeting after meeting. Binder said he also thinks there could be dissenters on both sides of the interest rate decision, given existing divisions within our rate. Hang on a second. An illegal alien from Honduras is reported to have stabbed a man on a light rail train in Charlotte, North Carolina. Suspect, Oscar Gerardo Solorzano Garcia, is in custody and has been charged with attempted first-degree murder. ICE has logged an arrest detainer for the man. The incident marks the second stabbing on Charlotte's transit systems in 5 months. Another stabbing by an illegal migrant in Charlotte, North Carolina, trumped social overreaction. What's going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece. This guy's got a rap sheet. Let's just say it's long. Okay. The president has championed AI, signing an executive order in February to strengthen U.S. investment in AI, including deploying federal resources, establishing technological infrastructure, and increasing investment in AI. Not everyone has been on board with the push. Experts have raised concerns over the speed with which AI is developing and potential harms, including the spread of incorrect information and the psychological impacts AI can have. Others have raised concerns about protecting copyrighted material and the way AI may use images of real. There have also been warnings about the way AI could be used to disrupt elections. AI-generated robocalls that mimic real politicians' voices being used ahead of the 2020 election to discourage voter turnout. Some states have begun passing laws to address those concerns, including laws meant to protect personal information, prohibit the use of individuals' likenesses for certain purposes, outlawing election-related deep fakes, banning the use of AI to create deceptive material, and requiring companies to notify users when they are interacting. Just like the internet, there's sure handy. Maybe just a little. So many times. Really been a Monday. My whole morning has been. And I get 3 letters from the IRS. My nonprofit. 3 of my employees have filled out their paperwork properly. The problem is our nonprofit has no employees. These letters gave me their names, their social security numbers. I call, Call the IRS, and I gave him the information. And he says, "Yeah, don't worry." It's like, well, I mean, shouldn't we report this as fraud or something? So I can transfer you to the fraud department. Let me just get their number. So apparently, my EIN number, which is correct on these letters, somehow somebody has hacked the database where I registered my number, and I don't know what they're up to, but I hope they get. That's if that seems cruel. Sorry. All right, Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around the clock service. Last week we ended up with stopped out. We had 13%, before percent. Anyway, over the last 384 weeks, we've issued over 21,000 handcrafted alerts. Averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our support holders. Valerie did the recap this morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. Since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, issued a total of 18 alerts. Time of the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 10. That gave us 4 actionable alerts. 5% been stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all passport holders. Every logic alert has an entry price, initial target, additional targets, and a final. Logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, AM or trade around the clock. We have globe. Day session is night session, and vice versa. The real purpose of the logic alerts is to teach you how to read. Sure, you can trade them, but you can't encourage enough. Use them for the purpose intended, and that's to learn the chart. Once you learn to read the chart, you won't, because you'll chart and see the same thing I see. See what I see. Get it? Don't put it off. Don't say, yeah, I'll get around to that someday. That someday, I don't have any plans to go anywhere. Don't you want to take your future? It's already in God's hands. But I mean, spend the rest of your life waiting for somebody to tell you. You just want to learn how to do it yourself. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, you're in the right place. That other guy, maybe you are in the wrong. I'm just being honest. Now, 384 weeks, well, that's a pretty long time. Look, 7 years. Many years before Logic 247 had our original alert service, concierge trader alerts. Now, they're different in a whole lot of ways. The purpose of this discussion, I'll say this: they don't come out around the clock. Published as a static report, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex open, evening. Monday session that we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 5 minutes before the market opened, all of our traders had all of these targets. ES, the Dow, Russell, NQ, silver. We're going to go through each one of these markets in granular fashion. Just remember, when you see these targets drawn on the chart, our traders had that information 5 minutes. That daily chart. Always start. Daily chart of the S&P 500. Now, all these lines, in case you missed writing, and I did this Thursday night in the shop. See right here where the black step line crossed blue and that happens, you should expect a retracement to the BBC. Here it happens again, and here it happens again. Happens again. Here it happens again, and there's the retracement that lasted 6 days. Every one of those candles is touching the green. As long as it's touching, it's holding. Not only do we have a 6-day hold, which is very, went on to put in two all-time historic intraday and closing highs. Then happened, step line crossed. Then we had a head fake. Had a candle open, close below C. Typically that leads to lower prices. But the following Sunday, this was a Friday, following Sunday night, gapped up. Wednesday, turn back below the BBC. Then on Friday gave an almost identical signal. So, as you can see, the market moves in legs. Leg retracement, retracement, leg retracement. And as you can see, the pullback hold. See, price always reverts to the mean. Doesn't matter what you're trading, how you're trading it. Price always. That's not just stocks. That's not just futures. That's not just crypto. Price. Write it down. Price always reverts to the mean. What does that mean? Well, in our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. It stands for bull. Price crosses above the green line. We're bullish and expect higher prices. Price crosses below, bearish and expect prices. As you can see, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. This was a 4-day pullback, 3-day pullback. Six days. This was 1, 2, 3 days, and then we got that head fake. Did it again. Now, leg retracement to the mean or back to the BBC. Leg retracement. Leg retracement. 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 Leg retracement. Or is it now leg retracement, leg retracement. Now we're about to get the downside. The answer is going to come when price hits the BC. It's always reverts to the mean. I showed you it holds more often than it doesn't. But eventually it does trade through. Now, all last week I talked about, guys, look how the black step line is starting to right. Once it, I really hammered this on Friday during this broadcast. I said, based on how we close today, when we open Sunday night, we're going to have a cross. Price trying to go. See, that's how it works. That's how it works on every one of these places where I've drawn. Okay? I only went back as far as August. I could have gone. Crosses, price pulls back. Step line crosses, price pulls back, holds not, but eventually it'll trade. Larger the time to hold. So, pretty confident, but there's one obstacle in our path. Major obstacle, the 62% fib extension. Now, if we get through that, we got this low right here, and we're at the BBC. Once we touch the BBC, could get a bounce, launch the Christmas rally. Failure of this pullback to hold could lead December. Now, if price trades through the BBC, we got potential support here at the 38% fib extension, 4% fib extension. Right here, we're ready. Zero line extensions. Slow right here. It's the big picture. Is the market transitioning from the market it's been in most of the year, actually a bear market, or are we going to trace to the BBC and then rally into the end of the year? Historical Santa Claus rally is a real thing. It's only 8 trading days. It's holiday. All right. All logic alerts are created on the chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. Just the time frame I chose years ago, and I've stuck. Now, when I say all alerts, I'm talking about the logic alerts and the concierge. All created on the vertical lines you see here separate today, Monday, Friday, back here's Thursday, back here's Wednesday. Now, these are last week's weekly. The new trading zones don't come out till Monday at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. How it's been for the last 16, actually 6 more days, and then it was exactly 16 years since the first time we ever published them every week for our December 4th, 2009. Price drops to a weekly trading zone, expect support. Price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance, support. Now, only one of three things happens when price encounters a zone. 70% of the time, it's this, consolidation. 20% of the time, it's this, rejection. 10% of the time, it's this, the slice. It's what a 30-minute candle slices through a zone like it's not even there. That happens, and the move runs out of steam, price will typically trace back to the slice through and continue in the direction of the slice. And that's exactly what happened today. Now, these are last week's zones because the alerts I put out on Sunday night have to be based on last week's zones. I don't put out the new zones till Monday morning at 6:15 Eastern. So on tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones, and any alerts I put out today and for the rest of the week will be based that were issued this morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone. Higher we change in any way whatsoever. Here's where we opened last night. Consolidated. See right below that zone. Came it and made a run up to the target at 68.90. As an example, if you entered on this candle, all conditions were perfect. Of the BBC, got blue and climbing, black step lines on the left side of blue and climbing. This candle opened 68.83.5. Just call it 68.84. Conservative. 84 to 90. 6 points. So get your goal for that. Consolidated along target. Here we drop to the C. Pullback held for quite a while. Did reach down and touch the zones. Bounced us up to resistance. That's price pulling back to the BC. Another test of that zone. Another bounce back up to the basement. Bounce up to the, and the zone we were trying to break through here finally happened, and it took us all the way down. Short target. It's where we sliced, traced back to the zone, and then continued to the next zone. Market bound support, bounce. Step line, it's hooking to the right. Black step line crosses red and falling. Tracement back to the C. It's just like when the step line crosses blue and climbing. Tracement. See all the way down on this big move down. See how these two are running parallel? Do you see this thing start to price? It's probably going to consolidate sideways as the step line crosses red and falling. See, it's directly below. Before they were running parallel. Now the black step line directly below. As it crosses over, price to rally. Now, run into resistance here. We could run resistance here. Price we'll be trying to get to is here. If the pullback holds, we get another downside. Back doesn't hold, resistance right high of this candle. 68.77. Still had one more zone overhead last week that we pretty easy to see how price goes from support, resistance, back to support, back to resistance. Now, this resistance here, you got to go look left. See that resistance. Almost always find something. Makes sense. Just got to learn how to read the chart. Dow, where we opened last night, we dropped to the weak zone, consolidated as we 70% time. It's 2 hours. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. Got above the BBC. It's high right here. C is exact. This was the opening candle. The high of the open candle last night. It's 4804. It's high. 48042. Get out by 2 ticks, right? See that's market structure. This was a green candle all the way up. Down resistance. This was a green candle all the way up to the exact same spot. 2 ticks. Then we come back down to the zone support. Consolidate sideways. And at 9 o'clock, we popped up to the long market. There's the 9:30 candle on Wall Street. And that's a pretty small street open. I didn't see all this, did I? So we had a red candle all the way down. That's a huge candle. Found support where? At the zone last week. Not the zones published this morning. The zone published last Monday morning. Now, some of you may have noticed that a lot of the zones this week on the ETFs are the same as the zones 2 zones last week that came this week. Sometimes it just works out that way. So we hit support and bounced all the way back up. Came down again to the zone. Bounced all the way back up to the other side of the short target. And we finally got below the zone. This is Monday. This is Friday. This is Thursday. This low from Thursday is basically to spiked it a little. See how the step line's starting to hook to the right? See how they're both parallel? To go into this consolidation, step line crosses red and falling, and then price powers its way back up. Russell was eerily quiet on Friday. It was actually eerily quiet on Thursday until 10 o'clock, and then all of a sudden it popped. These are last week. This is the carryover effect of the zones. They're still working. Usually by Monday afternoon, Tuesday, the zones are in control. So we did run up. Ding, ding, we hit the long target. Long target was based off this high, and this high was created by right here. See that? Resistance sends the market looking for support, which it found at the zone. And that support, it looks like it's trying to push price back above C. Back to the long. Right here, where blue at about 25.7. Potential resistance. So keep that. NQ. Friday, I drew in those two windows of opportunity. And I said, by the time we talk on Monday, one or both of those boxes will have filled. As you can see, I was talking about planning your work ahead of time, finding your windows of opportunity and waiting for the price to get there. So that's what I did on Friday. See, last night we filled the long window, basically tick, and short window, and found support at the zone from last week. So that covers the indices, but Michael is here now, so he's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room, maybe do a live trading as time permits. Then I'll come back, I'll finish the recap. We still need this over, and then we'll wrap things up.
All right. I was not looking in here. You were able to get logged on okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, I'm having other computer issues.
Okay, I had a thing that popped up that gave me some sort of log error. I was trying to get on. Kicked me off, and I tried it again with a different browser. And
Oh, I get that.
But, all right. Ready? Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Anyway.
Okay, all yours.
We can get started. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 8th day of December, 2025. Wow, 8th day of December. I haven't bought a single Christmas present yet. All right, so actually, that's not true. I did buy my mother one. So if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button and it will bring you to this registration page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down the bottom, make sure you give us your TradingView login ID, okay? Without the TradingView login ID, we do not know how to give you access to the indicators, all right? You have to give us that so we can set the indicators up on your desktop. Now, today was kind of a slow day, I kept getting this number off this morning, but anyway, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today we're up 157 on the NQ, -7 on the YM, +4 on gold, and +18 on the ES. So 157 on the NQ was not the high of the day. The high of the day on that was 166. The YM -7 was not the high of the day. The high of the day on that was 1. Gold 4 was the high of the day, and the ES 18 was the high of the day. Today it took 9 minutes and 4 trades to get to $1,400 with 10 contracts, or 140 with 1. And we took a total of 41 trades altogether with 7 stop outs. Now early on this number was in the 60s, but in the end we ended up with 41 trades with 7 stop outs for 82% of our trades being break even or better. I didn't have that many break even trades today. Now that I have everything going, everything but the ES goes to +1 tick or better. The NQ I switched. As you'll see, hopefully when we get in there and we start trading, on the NQ I switched it to be +4 ticks. I go to +4 after 10 ticks in profit. So that gave me, well, more 4 tick trades than 1 tick trades today. On the month now, we're at 7,222 over 6 trading days, averaging $1,203 per contract for 2-hour trading day. And on the year, we're at 260,680 over 210 trading days, averaging $1,241 per contract for 2-hour trading day. Following the 24/20 blueprint, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you'd be at 2 contracts right now. You would have only had to trade 29.1 hours. You'd be up $211,569 if you did everything just like me, right? For those 29.11 hours. So you'd be averaging $7,266 per hour. All right. All right. Let's get into what we did or didn't do. We'll start out with the gold because we didn't do much on gold at all. All right. The gold, it actually doesn't have as much of a spread right now, but this morning it had a spread of usually 4 or 5 ticks. So I stopped trading it. I can trade it again now because it's only got 1 tick spread. But the trades that we did take were in the first half hour here. These were the trades we did take this morning. The very first one, we picked up 2 ticks right there. And we picked up 1 tick there to get us to 3 and 1 more tick there to get us to 4. And that was it for the gold. All right. Then go all the way over to, well, let's just go to now. Okay, because now it's tradable again. We don't have anything here that we can trade right now, but I'll keep an eye on it. Right, we will trade gold again now, now that it's only got a tick spread. The YM, we were up on our very first trade on the YM, but after that, we were not. Let's get back to the beginning here. Okay. So this was our first trade on the YM right here. On this trade, we picked up just 1 tick. Then we stopped out. That put us at minus 14. And then we stopped out again. That put us at minus 29. Then we picked up 2 ticks to get to 27. Then 15 ticks to get to, well, get to minus 27. Then 15 ticks to get to minus 12. And then 5 ticks to get to minus 7. And that is where we ended up with the YM this morning. During the break. That was not a trade because this one didn't go full cycle. There was not a lot on the YM today. Yeah, that doesn't look like it came off the midpoint right there. It didn't. That would have been a trade right there. It would have taken a while before it got to there, but I would have probably taken a break even on it. That would have been a decent trade right there. That one too. And that was it. So the YM didn't give up much at all today. And we ended with minus 7 on the YM, but the opportunity wasn't really all that present either. Let's look at the ES now. Control and back. Wow, that's the whole break right there on the ES. So we're not going to have to scroll back far on the ES. There it is. That's the day on the ES. So we started out on the ES. Was our first trade. We got plus 2 ticks on that. Then we stopped out, put us at minus 10. And then we picked up 16 ticks. I'm sorry. We stopped out and put us at minus 8. They picked up 16 ticks that got us to plus 8. Then we stopped out again, put us at minus 2. And then we got 2, put us to 0. And then we got 4 more to plus 4. And from 4 to 12, so we got 8 more. Then 12 to 14. Then 14 to 16. And finally 16 to 18. And that was it on the ES. Now, during the break, there was 1 trade here. Would have been break even probably. Going all the way through to here. There was another trade here. That would have been a good opportunity. There was another trade here. That would have been good. And that was it. That was it on the ES. Okay. Now on the NQ. On the NQ, let's see. Let's scroll all the way back. The NQ is where we had by far the most trades today. So we had quite a few in here. And we'll go back to the beginning and start there. let's see. Our first trade here on the NQ, we picked up 3 ticks. Then right there, we picked up 45 ticks. So that's where we got the goal for the day on this one. We're at 48 ticks at that point. Now I have this one in blue because it was this trade right here. It wasn't off the midpoint. Right, it was above the midpoint. So those 3 ticks, well. Okay, Joan. I will read that full message in a few minutes. I don't know exactly what you typed in there. The next one we picked up right here on the NQ. It's like 4 ticks to get us to 52, then 8 ticks to get us to 60. Then we went to 68, and then 76, and then 80, and 118. And then we stopped out down to 93. Then we went up to 102, and 118, and 134. And then we stopped out again down to 109. Then we went to 113, then 121, and 129, and 133, and 157, 157, then 158. Okay, that's what that is. 158, then 166. And then we stopped out again down to 141. And I went to 145, 153, and finally to 157. And that is where we ended it with the NQ. So we had a bunch of trades on the NQ today. This is on the 19 range. Okay, let me go and look in here. Let's see. We had a short here during the break. Okay. Nope, that wasn't a valid long. This would have been right here. That would have been a break even. That would have been a short. That would have stopped me out pretty much to the tick. That would have stopped me out. That would have been a nice long trade right there. That would have gotten back both of those stop loss probably. That's it. Not a lot more. That is surprising. I thought we would have gotten more than that on the NQ during the break. But that's how it all worked out. So we ended up on the NQ with 157 ticks. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingaq.com. Click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button and it will bring you to this registration page. Just fill out the registration. Okay. Down here at the bottom gives you TradingView login ID. If you do not give us the login ID, we cannot get your indicators indicating for you. So make sure you give us that. All right. All right. Let's see if we can get some trades off now. We need a down close followed by an up close on both of these markets. The gold is pretty close to giving a trade. It needs a couple up closes and then a down close. The YM is a long way away from the midpoint, but could get up there. Now here's the down close on the NQ, but it didn't bring us into the oversold. Okay, so that didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. It usually does. So now we'll just wait a few minutes. Okay, and we'll come over here and see. Joan said. Okay, Joan, I will send you a picture of what I got. All right, on the ES, We need an up close here on the ES. That would be a long trade. Okay. And that would be our first trade of the session. It's got a low right now, 675. So we buy into 875 on the up close right there. 850 on the pullback, something like that. Over here on the gold and on the YM, we were looking for shorting opportunities. Both are in the red. And neither one has hit the midpoint yet. Okay. There's the ES up close. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and here's that one. Right. And we'll go to break even automatically after 4 ticks. So let's lock in just 1 tick so we have some profit on this session. And the gold did not come off the midpoint there. It needs to get into the oversold and get back into the overbought. And we're out with the 1 tick on the ES for right now. Okay, 1 tick on the ES. So we'll go in here. And again, for those of you guys who are watching this for the first time, you generally do pretty well in this session. Okay, generally. So we'll see how we end up here. Back here. Now, that is not a trade here. That is not a trade here. That is not an additional trade here. Not yet. So let's go here like this, here like this, here like this, and we'll go over here for a second. All right, we could have a trade here on the NQ on an up close. So get ready for that up close over there on the NQ. Okay, if you can't cut it, it's gonna flip to YBR. No trade there on the NQ. Cancel. No trade on the NQ. This is not a trade on the YM. This is not a trade on gold. So now the NQ is flipped to YBR down, so it's possible to get a short trade on the NQ. We have a silly opportunity. All right, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. All right. On the gold, we need an up close followed by a down close. On the NQ, we need an up close followed by a down close. On the ES, it still doesn't make the complete cycle, and we didn't get it on the gold yet. We're there on the NQ. We're pretty close to having a short trade here on the NQ right now. We need a down close on the NQ. Okay, still need that down close on the NQ. There it is. Here it is. It's going to go to +4 after 10 ticks in profit. So, oh, it's already at +4. Is that right? Do I have 2 of these on? Oh, no. No, okay. This is the separate order, I'm guessing. Yeah, it was. Okay. It's going to go to +4. There it is. It goes to +4 after 10 ticks in profit. Oh, I really screwed that one up. It's +8, 12, 16, and route 16 on the NQ. All right. Come here on the NQ. 16 in there. 2 trades. All right, the NQ, it did go full cycle, so it could give another trade here. It's got the potential for another trade. I don't want this bar to close up, because if it closes up, the next bar won't be close enough. I want it to close, well, move down some more and then close up. I don't want it to go straight up. I want it to go down some more and then close up. See, now the next bar is going to go straight down to be at or above the midpoint. It's going to go straight down. So you'd be selling right. No, it's too far away now. All right. Next. So I'm going to go out here to 7, and then we can click on this right here. And daily volume here, 749. The daily volume over here, 25. We'll be checking that throughout the week because it is rollover week for the indexes. Okay. This is not a trade because the midpoint was not flat on the bar before it. I know that rule kept me out of a win right there, but it keeps me out of a lot more losers than winners. I was hoping we were going to get something here on gold since we only got 3 trades on gold all morning. Here we are on the gold. We just need a down close now. Just need the down close. It's got a high of 18.1, so you'd be selling 17.1. Down close on the gold. Okay, the YM needs an up close followed by a down close. We've gone full cycle here, so we need an up close followed by a down close. Actually, we didn't paint that last bar, so let's see what happened. We just got the down close on the gold. Here's the gold. The NQ could give us another trade here. It could, it's possible. The YM could give us a trade now. The ES is not going to give us anything. Okay, the NQ didn't make it into the overbought, and there now it's in the overbought. It could give us a trade here. Could give us another trade. The NQ could possibly. The YM could also possibly give us a trade. Okay, there's the YM and the NQ. Okay, the NQ is at +4. It just gave me +4. The YM is not at +4 yet. The gold is not at anything yet either. Right, so both of these are programmed to go to break even after they get enough profit in them. See, always on top on that one, always on top on that one. And we got 4 more ticks over here. Now that, I just realized, switched to green, the background color, so it wasn't really a valid trade. But we did get 4 more ticks. Let's just set that. 20. And 3. Back over here. So we're still waiting for the gold and the YM to move down in prospective markets. This was actually a long trade there on the NQ. I don't believe it's gone 10 ticks into profit, so you can still jump on it if you want to. Don't know that that's the wise thing to do, but all right. So the YM and the gold are both on the right side of the entry now. And the NQ's flipping the YBR again. Right, the S looks like it's poised to flip the YBR here too. And the NQ's ready to give, almost ready to give another short trade here. These two up closes right now. YM just bumped +1 tick. Looking 5 on that. And it's getting down as far as it should go here. So we're looking 7, 10, and we're out with 10 on the YM. Okay, now as far as it should go was the swing low. That's what I was looking for. And the gold just bumped to +1 tick. So we're locking 2 on that. And we're out with 2 on the gold. All right, so let's go in here. On the YN, we picked up 10, and on the gold, we picked up 2. Okay, so that's a 5 now. All right, it is now 126. 126. Two, three, four, five. 5 trades, all profitable. So this should get down to 215.8 at least. And this has got to where it should go to. It should start pulling back now. YM should. The ES should too, but the ES flipped the YBR. Because it flipped the YBR, you're actually looking for shorts now, so it should pull back 50% of the leg down, which would be right here at the midpoint. Okay, makes sense, probably. All right, so on the NQ now. We've gone full cycle everywhere. So we just need the pullbacks here. And we only have about 1 minute left. Gold could be a trade on a down close if it doesn't go any higher. No, it's gone too high, I think. Yeah, it's gone too high. So gold's not going to be a trade. The S is not going to be a trade. The YM's not going to be a trade. The NQ is our last chance at a trade here. Your 6th trade of the session if it happens in the next 30 seconds. I don't think it's gonna now. This has got a high of 18.4. So down close be 1 tick above on the gold. See what I mean? 1 tick above. So it looks like this is where we're going to end up wrapping it up, guys. So in this session, we had 100% break even or better. We traded 6 times, and we're up $1,825 with 10 contracts, or $182.50 with 1 contract. So we got the goal for the day in there with 1 contract in this 15-minute session, plus 20 on the NQ, plus 10 on the YM, plus 2 on gold, and plus 1 on the ES. Okay, so in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sessions that we've done, we're up $9,925 with 10 contracts, or $992 with 1 contract. So we're averaging the goal for the day, pretty much $99 every day in this session. That's pretty good, I think, given that we only trade 15 minutes. All right, so if you haven't taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on the purple button. No credit card required. It's going to bring you to this page. Just fill it out. All right, give us all the information we ask for, and you will get access to everything we have to offer for 5 consecutive business days. Was that close enough to short the NQ now because it looked like the price was touching the midpoint? It wasn't actually touching it. If I blow it up, you see it's like 2 ticks away right there. Jeff, here. This one right here, if that would have come off, that would have come out of the overbought, that would have been better. This one was 2 ticks away. Okay. On something like that, you know, on something like that, this didn't happen on this one, but on something like that where it doesn't actually hit it, if you get the down close and then you wait for it to pull back like 50% of the bar, a lot of times that would be an okay entry too. All right, if it's really close to it, but it doesn't actually hit it, and the very next bar pulls back, you get a chance to get a good entry on the next bar, like this right here. That's exactly it right there. Okay, the same thing right there. That's exactly what I mean. You see, this one, well, I guess this one was off the midpoint, wasn't it? I guess it was. So this would have been a valid trade here. But if it wasn't off the midpoint, then that's what I mean. All right, so that's it. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Yeah, Dwayne is ready. He is ready. All right. Okay.
Okie doke. Recap of the morning session.
Well, today, Dwayne, I have to go look. I think it took 9 minutes today. 9 minutes and 4 trades to get to $1,400 with 10 contracts on, or $140 with 1. Thank you very much.
Right. Well, I'll see you when I see you. And guys, we'll pick up where we tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Still in chat.
Okay. And is Joan in here?
Trying to cancel a free trial. It's a vast. I was bragging on them, and it's like they make
stuck with them.
They make unsubscribing just an absolute nightmare. It's taking up my entire morning. VPN that I showed you was working so well last week. After I had to reboot my computer, and it won't work. I had an employee in, and she fumbled around, or she blamed it on malware bytes, and I said, well, guess what? I had malware bytes last week, years, and it didn't conflict then.
Huh. Well, that sounds like a real hassle.
Yeah, okay. But I won't burden everybody with my problems. I'll just finish where I left off. Here we go, guys. Made it all the way to the end. Where we are currently sitting on top of last week's weekly. We opened last night. Remember, I drew these 2 windows of opportunity on Friday, and I said by the time we talk on Monday, one or both of them will have filled. And as we can see, long side filled. See, the short side filled. That's the deal. The open last night, we had a slightly gap higher open. We pulled back to the BBC. Remember, it always reverts to the mean. Got a leg, and then right here, the step line crossed. And blue and climbing got directly above price, becoming resistance. That sent price back to the BBC. Consolidated. Leg, and we almost hit the long target. Retracement. That's how price moves. Leg. Retracement. Then a retracement, and then we got below the BBC. Now look at these two indicators. Step line and red. Hang on for me 1 second, guys. This guy in this chat is answer just subscribe. Disable auto. Let's keep this number. Hang on, guys. Sorry. Sort of deal. Like such glowing reviews on Forex. Save this reference number. Chat. Sorry, guys. Life happens sometimes. Okay. So we get below the BBC. Right. Back to the BBC, and again the pullback holds. See when it pulls down from down here, that's what's changing. These two are running parallel on the way down. See how the step line has now crossed to the right side of red, and we found support at last week's weekly trading zone. So what we should see now is a bounce. Could run into resistance here. Could run into resistance here. Most likely. Trace back to the BBC. All right, crude oil. If you missed any part of this broadcast, if you watch the entire broadcast in its entirety by going to youtube.com/CFRN as soon as I log off. All right, crude oil. Now again, these are last week's zones. All the alerts that go out on Sunday night are based on last week's zones because zones don't come out till Monday, 6:50 Eastern. Any alerts I put out today will be based on this week's zones. Once they're published Monday morning at 6:15 Eastern, stone for the entire week. So on tomorrow's broadcast, of course, you'll see this week's zone chart. So here's what crude opened last night. Pull back to the BBC, the back held, and we put top. See that? Sent us below the BBC. Now you see how we sliced through that zone right there. You see how we retraced back to the zone we sliced through, continued in the direction of the slice, short target. Then we traded through the short target all the way down to the zone, bounced and we bounced and we bounced and we bounced. Dropped to the next zone. And we took out this low from, so where should we find support next? Oh, we're right. You see this? Okay, this is today, 90. Last Wednesday, we had a bullish cross. That's when the blue line gets above the green. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, first time price revisits that area, right where the cross happened. Will almost always be good support. Now look at the final line on my cursor. Do you see it? Sitting right on top of it. Yes, we spiked it a little bit. Sitting right on top. Next would be here. And next would be right here where we turn to blue. This low. And then this low. Reading a chart's pretty simple once you just understand the basic concepts. You got to show up. You got to do the work. Now again, Monday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What happened last Wednesday is affecting the markets today. Now, that doesn't make you go, I don't know what. It happens over and over. All right. Gold. Fifth day for gold and silver. Here, well, you can see on Friday we found resistance at the zone. Spike it on this one, but we zone 4278/79. And then we dropped to the zone below support. And then got below that zone going. So had a leg and a leg that ran into support. Timing was bullish. Took us above the BBC. We had a pullback. BBC and the weekly too. Consolidated there for a bit. Got above, then we got below. And we finally made the run down to the short target zone below. /42. Stop line has crossed, red falling. Should see a retracement back to the BC. Back holds as it does most of the time. We'll get another leg to the downside. Doesn't hold, then we got potential resistance right here at the zone. Sigh. Target is based off this bearish. Last silver. Last night attempted higher, but we couldn't. This was the opening 30-minute candle. Double top there. There it was straight down to the short target. Spiked the zone. Red and falling turned to blue and climbing. That took us back above the BBC. The held and it held and it until that's how it works. Black holes more often than it doesn't. Eventually, this pullback held and down we go to the short target and then down to the zone below. Step line has crossed red and falling. Should be seeing a retracement. Let's see. Seems kind of heavy. Next, major support way down here at 57.60. Cross that led to a very extended move. Price revisits that area. Should be good support. If we get a retracement to the BBC, trade through. Doesn't hold. Right here you have a cross. Gap below the green line. That should be good resistance. Actually good resistance there. And of course you got support zone. Each of these major lows, and then at this bullish cross. Let's see. On the daily chart, that pullback to the BC. Remember we talked last week. Once this thing started hooking right, I kept saying, guys, it's likely cross of blue and step lines across, and we're going to tracement to the BC. It hasn't happened yet. Well, the cross has. That part's set in stone. Now, if you close on Friday, see the little wick hiding behind that vertical? Smooth the vertical. Friday's high, the exact high. Not exact. 12th high was 6,900. Friday was 6,905. Actually took it just a little bit back. Now we got potential support here, 62% fib extension, and then the BBC. Spike the BBC, there's a potential support. A lot of layers of support here. 62 daily BBC, the 50% fib extension, which is basically aligned with the bullish cross. Then the 38, then the 24. Red turn to blue. Zero line. To become a member, learn how to read the charts. Email Valerie, support@CF. Know you want to become like thank you, Jeff, for the kind. Appreciate that. Okay, email Valerie. Let her know you want to become. Ask about the new monthly subscription. She'll send you the information to get signed up. Of course, monetarily, it makes the most sense to just become a budgetary constraints. Inquire about the monthly subscription. It's a difference between and owning. So sometimes you got. Once you become an official passport holder, however you and Valerie work it out, get 2 hours of live training every trading. It's an interactive environment. On top of the 2 hours of live training, you get private one-on-one mentoring. Extra charge, just got to ask. strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder, all markets and all, not just futures, no, stocks, Forex, crypto. Price flows the same across all markets and all times. Support, resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over cycle. Logic 247 alerts, which come out around the clock, they will help you learn so you know where to expect resistance and where to expect support. Will you always get resistance where you get support where you think? Over 7 years, we've issued 21,100, and what we've averaged on a basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our. There is no 100% holy never get stopped out again. Just click some buttons and make some money. No. Sorry. Please. Chasing that thing. It doesn't exist. It can't exist by the laws of science and physics. And God created Adam. He did not give him the ability to change the past or know the future. The same's true today. Now, you can guess and be right half the time. Being right half the time won't make you profitable as a chart. Logic 247 alert. You'll also get the concierge trade alerts every evening, shortly before Forex open, 5:55 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get, and you're able to attend the members only workshop. Plus, you get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. There's quite a few. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof. It's a good checked. All right, let's wrap it up with a good strengthening your marriage. 5 relationship lessons by John Gordon. The more I love my wife, I love my. It's not about what she does for me, and it's not about score. It's about deciding to be selfless, love her, serve her. I do better. 2, courage instead of competing. A lot of couples get jealous if their spouse is enjoying success rather than encouraging them. When you support and advocate for each other, you grow and strengthen your team. 3, sometimes marriage is great and sometimes it's not. Too many people get grass is greener. Plant yourself, nurture your relationship. It's time and energy in your spouse, and you grow into who. Marriage is where you learn to give, take, work on your issues, and heal. Have a shared mission. Wife and I knew we weren't together just for ourselves. We felt our mission was to raise champions who in the world. Parents, we've made mistakes, but mission inspired us to give our very best. Like God into years ago, we hit a tough patch. A guy told me how he and his wife pray together. So I asked God what our prayers should be. It came to me a few years later. We have said it ever since. It has made a difference to us and grow. It's our good work. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, God continue to richly bless you. Mercy, His grace. See you.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.